So we got 2x plus 3y equals 6. And we're going to graph this equation and then identify the slope and the y-intercept, right? So what we have to do is solve for y. We need to get the y all by itself. If we get y on its own, then it'll look like y equals mx plus b. We can make a little table, we can graph the line and find the slope and y-intercept. But we have to get y on its own first. So to get y on its own, we kind of solve this formula, or this equation, right? And there are some things done to y. Like y is being multiplied by 3, can you see that? And then 2x is being added on, right? So what do we do first? Do we get rid of the 2x or do we get rid of the 3? What do we do first?
2x.
Right. So to get rid of the 2x, should we subtract it? Right? Because 2x minus 2x is 0. And now we have a positive 3y equals 6 minus 2x. You could write that, that's correct. Or negative 2x plus 6. Either way is correct. 6 minus 2x is fine. Negative 2x plus 6 is fine. Yep. I'm going to do it this way because it's in slope-intercept form here, right? Now I've got to divide by 3, though, to get y on its own, don't I? And,
yes.
And it's kind of like, the trick is, though, we actually have to divide everything by 3. A lot of students mess up here and they divide just one thing. But you have to remember that if we thought about, like, all of these things are just numbers. So like let's say 30, right? 30 equals, it equals 24 plus 6, doesn't it? So that's an equation. If I divide this side by 3, can I just divide the 24 by 3, or do we have to divide both? Do you know what I mean? Like if I divide 30 by 3, 30 divided by 3 is what? It's 10, isn't it? What happens if I just divide this by 3 and I don't divide the 6? I'll get, what's 24 over 3? 8. What's 8 plus 6? 14, isn't it? So 14 isn't right. It can't. So we can't just divide the 24 by 3. I must divide the 6 by 3 also, because it's 10 equals 8 plus 6 over 3 is 2. Can you all see that?
Yes.
So that's why you have to divide everything by 3, not just like the number in front. Most students will just divide this and they'll forget about the 6. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. All right. You all okay with that? Should we move on, or are we doing? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So that's an important step there. And now 3y over 3 is just y, isn't it? And we have negative 2x all over 3. That can be written like this. Negative in line with a fraction bar, and then 2/3 x. Negative 2/3 x. You could leave it negative 2x over 3 if you want. It doesn't matter. And then 6 over 3 is 2. Okay with that?
Yes.
Now let's plug in some numbers. So I always want you to plug in 0 first, because it's easy, and it is the y-intercept. So let's get that out of the way first of all. We're going to plug 0 in for x, so let me know what you get. 2, because it's 0 plus 2, right? Which is 2. So we got that point. So 0, 2 is the point, isn't it?
Yes.
0, 2. So that, are we all okay at that point there, 0, 2? All right. So the question is, what do I plug in next? You can plug anything in is the answer. It doesn't matter. It's just that your answers are going to be a little bit messy with fractions. So what I propose you do is plug in something that's going to work out nicely. And because you're dividing by 3, if you plugged in like a multiple of 3, it would work out nicely. For example, 3, 6, 9. Give me another multiple of 3, someone. 12. Anything else?
15.
Yeah, any negatives?
-3.
-3. Give me another multiple of 3, anybody.
-21.
-21. Lovely, yeah. -6, -9. Any of these would be good, right? You only need a few points, though. So how about we'll go with, +3 and -3. Does that make sense? But like, you guys could pick any of these. Any of these is going to work. It'll work out nicely. But in fact, you could plug in 1 or 2 or whatever. But it's just that if you plug in multiples of 3, it'll work out nicely with the fraction. So that's the only reason we're picking it. Alright, so I plug in 3, then I plug in -3. So plug in 3. There's a couple of ways of doing this. You get -2/3 times 3. So you can write that 3/1 if you want to. Or you could just go, -2 times 3, that's a -6/3. So that's an important step. Can you all see that this becomes -6/3?
Yes.
All right, plus 2. So that -6/3 makes -2, right? And then these guys add to 0. Okay with that?
Yes.
Any questions on that?
No.
By the way, that could have been, so we had -2/3 times 3. We could have written the 3/1, and we could have cross-cancelled these 3's, and then this whole thing just becomes -2. That's another way of doing it, right? I think most students like to multiply the top. And then on this one, it's -2 times -3, +6/3 plus 2, right?
Yeah.
And that gives us this. 2 plus 2, 4. Okay? So now we got a couple other points. We have x is 3, y is 0. I can write that as an ordered pair if I want to. You don't have to. And then -3, 4, right? Is my sound too loud or is it good?
Okay.
Good. 3, 0. And -3, 4. And good deal. The points are in a line, so they should be right, hopefully, if I haven't made some other mistake somewhere. Now that's the line there, right? You can put some arrows on it. And a couple of things about the line. First of all, tell me, everybody, where does it cut through the y-axis?
No.
Right.
0, 2.
Yeah, exactly. And have a look at our equation and see where that lines up. So it goes through the y-axis at 2. And sure enough, 2 appears here on the equation, right? And then we're going to do the rise over the run as well before you all go. Rise over run. So if I take a point and I get to another point, I'm going to go over till I'm directly above the point, and then I have to go down. See that? To get to the next point, I have to go over and then down. But how far am I running and how far am I rising to get from one point to the other? So I want you all to look at that and write down, everyone write down, what is the rise over the run for this line? Write it down. Like, what's the run, what's the rise? How far? The run is how far you're going across, and the rise is how far you're going up or down. And by little hint, the rise could be negative, couldn't it? Because if you're dropping, that's like a negative rise. You know what I mean? So going from left to right. So we're always going from left to right. Can you all see that we're going? Did you all have a chance to try that? So you see that to get from one point to the other, we're going running across 3, and then we're going down 2. So we're going across 3, down 2, across 3. So the run is 3, the rise is -2. So we have -2/3, right? And that appears in the equation here. Okay with that? And that's that.